What's going on, guys, man? Welcome back to the actual first episode of the newly branded Unspoken podcast. I'm your host, Ken. Shout out to the YouTube fam checking in, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everybody. I got my boy Peter here. We're about to talk about a wide range of topics. I hope you guys are excited. We're about to get started.
Hey, what's good?
How you feeling?
I'm alright. I'm alright.
Yeah,
Like cold, but it's Canada for you, so it's
yeah.
not bad.
Nah, I feel that, man. So, just get a people a little intro about yourself, where you're from, how old you are, and things like that.
Okay, so my name is Peter. I'm from Nigeria, but I reside in Canada. I've been in Canada for about like 6, 7 years, thereabout. And also, I'm a student, but I'm also working. I'm on my last year of college and all that. And also, I'm also a model too. So a
Hmm.
model slash influencer and all that.
Yep. So what is it like making that jump from like Nigeria to Canada? What is that like?
It was a pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy jump, I don't lie. Like, because at first, okay, I came here when I was quite young, so like the cultural difference was quite like tough for me. But after a while, I got used to it. And also, Canada is like a super cold country. Like, I'm not kidding you. It gets to like -30 degrees.
Yeah.
Like something like it gets crazy cold. So that was also something like I had to battle, but I got over it. So like right now, I'm used. I think I could survive almost any form of winter storm I've encountered.
Really? So what about like the culture differences?
Cultural differences.
Yeah.
Mm, it's quite different, but like okay, like in Canada, like especially in Toronto, like there's
Hmm.
a large community of Nigerians. So like it's you won't actually see like much of a difference because you always find your community wherever you go, right?
Yeah.
Like look like and also like you always find black people like in certain part that you're living in basically. So where I
Right.
live, like there's a lot of like black communities and all that. So it wasn't
Gotcha.
that difficult to like move to cope.
Yeah. That is dope, man. So I know we had a number of conversations before we actually got to this period, and I know one of the main things that you had talked about was the self-preservation of men and what that looks like. And I know one of your big things was men taking care of themselves,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I just kind of want to dive deep into that. And you already know my perspective that I think men should go the extra mile into taking care of themselves before lending a helping hand outside of themselves, because it's very hard to give yourself to other people when you yourself aren't isn't 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I feel you on that.
So I just kind of want your thoughts on it, man. How can men get to a place where we can be more comfortable in taking care of ourselves?
So my thought on that would be like one of the first points I'll lay out is first of all, men need to know their self worth, because I feel like that's a big issue in this like day and age that we live in, because some
Hmm.
men don't actually know how much like some men don't even realize that they are worth more than even some of the girls they're chasing, or they have more value compared to the girls they're chasing. And until men like realize that like okay like this okay like a guy could have like a net worth about what let's say about 100K, and he's doing the most for a girl that's not giving attention, and this girl doesn't have even up to like $20,000 to her name and all that. So men need to understand. And some men like have I've seen men go way above and beyond and do crazy stuff just to get just the bare attention of a woman. So until women like understand their self worth, that's when we could actually advance more in the community.
Mm. So what about like the average guy, the guy who may not have 100,000 to his name? What about the guy who may be coming out of college, or the guy who may be in college who may have a job that's paying 50 or 40,000 a year?
Okay, fine. Even for that, okay, this guy like the rule also applies for like almost anyone, because
Mm.
I'm just saying like in general, like if you're chasing a woman, you shouldn't put like try to also consider your self worth. Like basically the thing about what I'm saying is that your self worth basically.
Yep.
So if you don't understand your self worth, because sometimes like we men we tend to like overstep, like we don't easily get the hint when a woman doesn't actually want us or just simply using a guy. So until men like okay understand like this girl is using you and all that, that's when we could have quite advance in the future.
Yeah. What about from a perspective of guys who value the people around them more than they value themselves? For instance, I used to be that guy where, if my friends needed something from me, no matter what I was going through, no matter what it was going through my head, I would always try to be there for them. despite my own mental health or despite, my own personal struggles, whether it was financially or whatever they needed. I tried to always be there. So from that perspective, what would you say a man needs to do in order to not give himself so much to other people around him and instead be a little bit more reserved with how they're not reserved, but a little bit more understanding as to how they're feeling and knowing when to give themselves to a person and when not to?
I feel like it all zero down to like this how the situation is. So like you can be there for your friend if like it's something that's actually like that person, but as I said, like you should always try to put yourself first and understand. Okay, like is this person like also know always try to know the difference between is someone using me or is someone just is that person genuinely needs my help?
Mm,
Because sometimes your friends could also tend to use you without you knowing.
right. Have you ever had a friend that tried to use you before?
In the past, like a couple years back, yes,
Yeah.
that's
What was that like?
okay. So like, so back a couple years back, I used to be so big in the model in my city. I used to be so big in the modeling industry.
Mm,
So like, I was getting a lot of gigs, paying me about 2 grand a gig, whatever. And my friends, like at that time, I was making like good amount of money. I was traveling a lot, whatever. So my friends saw that like my friends would come to me and they ask me like, oh, I should send them some money for this and I because I used to just have to believe that okay, and I didn't click on this. It was my brother who told me this that like okay, like your friends are trying to use it for clout and all that, and also use it for money, get in clubs and whatever. So that's when I now told okay, so like kind of cut the person off slowly over time, and that's when I understood that part of life. So
you said slowly over time. So why did it take you like a process of like slowly over time rather than like in that moment when you realize this person may be using me? Why isn't it like, oh yeah, I need to just cut this person off and just go about my business? What was that process like over time? Like over time, were you still just kind of giving him money, but you were just kind of giving it in like smaller increments, or were you just kind of like, oh, this is my homie, I really want to fuck with him, but I really just need to cut this person off, so it's a little harder. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
so that's the thing. Yeah, like at first, even when my brother first like told me about it, at first it took me a while to actually accept it. Like
Mm,
it's actually because it's your friend, and this guy was like super close to me. Like he's like one of my closest guys in my friend group. So it took me a while to accept it until like I now did like a close observation, and then saw like okay, what people are saying is actually true. But then him being my friend, I couldn't just like cut him off like easily, and I'm not gonna tell him straight up like okay, this is what you're doing because he most like would deny it. So I now to like kind of over time just stopped like okay, you ask me, I'll be like give an excuse for this whatever, like say, okay, I need the money for this. Then over time, I think he got the hint. Then he now like stopped acting. So that's like then after a while, like I try to push him away, like not make him as close as before, because I now saw that okay, like this person is not appreciating the type of like me as a friend. He's now seeing me as like like a bank or some sort of like cloud or whatever.
mm. Gotcha. So you never actually had a conversation with him. You just kind of gave him the hint, like, "Hey, this isn't cool. Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
have to feel like a
technically, yeah.
bank account or whatever." And you say he ultimately got the hint and he stopped, but he still kind of looked at you as more of a celebrity than a person who was actually a friend.
Yeah,
So you eventually just had to cut him off. No, it makes sense, man. I've been there with a couple friends, man. Sometimes, unfortunately, the friendship is undervalued, and who you have become becomes this widely valued person, and that's what they kind of cling to. I had friends who I went to high school with, everything, and then we were just super cool, like no problems, no anything. And then it's like once I elevated in life,
yeah,
then it became something different. I became to feel like a bank account or like a status for them to do something else. Like, hey, can you shout
yeah,
me
like a
out?
step
Or
symbol, yeah.
hey, do this. Hey, come to the club with me. When in reality, I don't even do the whole clubbing thing, but I already know I'm there just because of who I am, just so they can look good, so that they can have this status for themselves. So, man, friendships are kind of like a slippery slope once you do elevate in life. Some people are going
Yeah.
to be 100% solid. Some people even become more solid once you do elevate. And then some people just, they crumble under it. So,
And that's why I believe in the phrase that like as you go higher, your friend group sometimes kind of like changes or it kind of like it becomes fluid a bit.
yeah.
Because I used to be think that like that phrase was a myth, but like I then came to realize that like you actually your friend because if you think of it like the same friend you had when you were like what 6 years old or 5 years like when you were a kid, won't be the same. Wasn't the same friends you had probably like when you were 15, or the same while you were like 21 or 28, or like as you progress in life, the friend group will keep like, or people who you call your closest friends will keep like changing over time. Maybe one or two will stick around you, but it won't be the same exact people every single time.
No, that's 100% true. And I try to tell like my nieces and nephews this, that in high school, the people that they're friends with now, unless they do have the same ideals and goals, and they'll stick around. But a lot of times, man, high school friendship groups, they all crumble. Like none
Yeah,
of them
that's true.
really
Yeah,
last,
yeah, that's true.
because
Yeah,
everybody's gonna go a certain path in life. Some people are gonna go to college. Some people are just gonna go to trade school. Some people are not gonna do neither. Some people are going to finish college. Some people are going
yeah,
to drop out. Some people are going to go this route. Some people may move states. Like, it's just so many variables that can happen in a friendship group outside of high school that a lot of them don't make it. And that's okay. Because, I mean, even in my adult life, and I'm 28, I've met so many people like within the last year, 2 years, that I'm like, damn, these are like my homies, versus the people that I grew up with that constantly used to ask me for money and shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So everything has kind of evolved just based around just the ideals and goals that I have. And I've just kind of surrounded myself with people who have the same goals. You know what I mean? I think that's important as a man, to where we elevate. One statement is true. You are who, what is it? You are
Who you surround yourself.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. You are who you surround yourself with. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
yeah, I
Like
believe that 1,000%. Yeah,
I can look at a dude and he may be cool at first, and then it's like if we go hang out and I kind of see like his friend group, or I see the people he
yeah,
hang around, I'm
I
like,
do that too. I also do that
uh,
speaking with girls too sometimes though.
yeah,
Like
absolutely, bro.
I
I
do it.
can't I can't hang with anybody if I don't like the people they hang around.
Yeah, same
Like,
here.
that's just the type of person I am. Like, he could be the coolest person at first, but I'm like, if you surround yourself with these people, there's something about you that I don't see. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's very important that men surround themselves with people who have the same goals, because then we help each other elevate. We're all chasing the same
and I
thing.
believe that like that usually happens. Like men don't actually understand that part mostly, because some guys just like okay, because in college, like people just get whatever friend want to party, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like people need to now focus like, okay, is this like as you progress in life, you need to check up on your friend group and be like, okay, is this current friend group I have, are they adding value to me? Are they like goal oriented? Do they have any money plans or whatever? And I
Yeah.
feel like most friend groups don't actually sit down to like have such conversations, like in this day and age.
No, and I 100% agree with that. Like, I think it's very, 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 very important that nobody is surrounded by yes men, right? Like, if I
Yeah,
call my homie and I'm going through something, I don't need you to tell me it's gonna be okay. I need you to tell me I fucked up.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
That's what you need. I need you to tell me I fucked up. My mama could tell me to be okay.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah, that's
mean?
right.
But my homie, like my close friend, I need you to be like, nah, bro, this thing you fucked up. Like, you need to go do this, or you need to go handle this in this way. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z. I don't need a yes man who's just gonna try to comfort me. That's not what I go to my homies for. I don't go to my homies for comforting. Like I said, my mama can comfort
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
me.
right.
You know
But
what I
the homies
mean?
you just tell the like the hard truth, like whatever.
Yeah, I need you to tell me the real. Tell me where and then, for me, that makes me look at you like, you know what, man, that's really my dog. Like, that's my homie. I put more value in that friendship than if you could tell me some hard shit that, I may not want to hear. I may even get mad about it. I may resent you a little bit for it. But it's like
True,
when I think long back at it, I'm like, you know what,
true,
man,
true.
he really told me some real shit. Like, you don't have no choice but to value that.
Because I think that the truth is always gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so hard. So
Exactly, exactly. When you find homies around you that can really tell you the truth, no matter how bad it's gonna hurt, no matter how bad you don't want to hear it, them are the
yeah,
ones you want to keep around you. So, nah, man. So we can kind of jump back. I know you was talking about the whole women thing. So my take on how men should approach, or how men should value women, I guess, is that as a man, from my perspective, wherever you are in life, $100,000 person, $40,000 person, the way that I see men being comfortable or gaining the attention of a woman
yeah,
is by, number one, being themselves, right?
yeah,
And I live in Atlanta, so I see it all the time that women they will approach men. They will approach. Like, men don't always have to be the one chasing. I see it all the time where
But the
women
thing about
will do it.
women don't always like the ratio of to like women approaching men compared to men. It's like
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
like
Like
yeah.
men, I mean, it's also like a social thing where
Okay,
men
yeah,
have
true.
been taught to have to approach the woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is that the type of men that I see women approach, they don't just approach any man.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's
It's
true.
a very specific type, and it's not always the type that has on the Amiri jeans or shit like that. Because number one, I live in Atlanta. If you go out, everybody's a fucking
Yeah.
celebrity
We
here.
were the Americans and
Everybody got on that shit out here, I guess.
yeah.
So you have to be a very specific type of man, like a man who look like he's taking care of himself, a man who look like he's not into the whole, like even when I do go out, right?
Yeah.
The type of man that I see get approached the most is the quiet one, the one who's just chilling,
That
the one who's just
did you phrase? I think they should call them the mysterious guys. Like that's what I hear most
eh,
women call. Like
exactly like
just like his mysterious aura and all that.
if you're just a man, just chilling. Like you don't have to be all out in the crowd. And the men that I see get rejected the most are always the ones that's standing on top of the section,
Yeah,
holding the
stand up
bottles,
tall or like they'll
trying to force shots into their hands. Those are the men that get rejected the absolute most.
yeah,
The man
1,000.
that's just chilling, minding his business, kicking it. Those are the ones that they approach. Those are the ones they after. Those because in the long run, and I'm only talking from a nightlife perspective right now. Even if a woman does go to the club and y'all meet in the club, 9 times out of 10, she doesn't want that to be the lifestyle that you guys have with each other. You know, like y'all can meet in the club, but y'all both can be homebodies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So what she's thinking
I
about,
you mentioned that's how me and my ex kind of met. Like, and that's the life we lived. Like, so when we met in the club, then when we actually became a relationship, we became homebody. We barely went out.
yeah, exactly. That's normally how it happens. So women are probably thinking like, no woman really wants a guy who's in the club, standing on sections, pouring shots
Yeah,
for
true.
women. Like no woman really wants that. So when they do approach the quiet, mysterious man, they're thinking from a long-term perspective, like, if we do start dating, we do end up together. I do know if he goes out, I know what he's gonna do. He's not.
Yeah.
He's chilling. Like I can fuck with that. I don't want to fuck with the guy that's doing all that, and that's men too. Like I wouldn't want to fuck with a girl who's standing
Yeah,
on
I was
top of
about
this
to literally mention
section.
that. I feel like also men have their own version to that too.
Exactly. So it's like I don't want to fuck with the girl who's doing all of this crazy shit. Like if I want to fuck with somebody, it's gonna be the girl that's in there chilling, might take a little drink here and there. Like I can rock with that because we're on the same level. Like I'm rocking with that.
Yeah.
But I guess just from a general perspective, like I said, I live in Atlanta. Everybody out here is a celebrity, whether it's at the mall, that's at restaurants. Everybody's a celebrity. Everybody acts like they have some level of wealth, and everybody has on the fashion, the Amiri jeans, and the Balenciaga shirts, all of that shit. So dating has become a little complex here because you never really know what you're getting yourself into.
Wait, how's the date? So, like, how bad is the dating scene in Atlanta?
So I wouldn't say it's bad per se. I would just say, like I said, it's a little complex because you can meet someone and they can appear to have this level of elevation to themselves that looks good, but then when you really get to know them or you really be around them, and it's like, okay, you feel like you were lied to or you were cheated because
Jeez, I didn't think it was.
you were in. How do I explain? And that's not all women. I guess it's not even that big of a percentage of them, but like I said, it can be complex. You can meet some
No,
very dope women
understand.
here.
I fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like there's a lot of black excellence here, so there's a lot of phenomenal women here. But there will be times where you come across a woman, she has a certain appearance about herself, and then when you get to know her, when you be around her, and it's like, wait,
I know the problem with Canada is that like especially the black community, it's kind of like a small smaller group. So kind of everyone knows everyone technically. So even before you date someone over here, you'd probably have heard something about this person, or
right.
So it's really hard over here in Canada, like to find a girl and be like, okay, no, like out of 10 guys, none of them know who this girl is, especially if she's kind of popular too.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to know if it's kind of the same thing.
No, dating here is just coming with. You just have to have a level of understanding because women date just like men do, right? So if you meet a woman, even if she's dope, 9 times out of 10, if she's been single for quite a while, you're not the first person that has approached her. You're probably not the first person that's got her number. You're probably not going to be the only person she's dating at that particular time, and that's okay. That's just that's just dating. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the thing about men here that I kind of see where they go wrong is they don't apply the right type of pressure. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to trick off or you don't have to do anything crazy, but it could be as small as just like sending some flowers here and there.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah. That's
mean?
and I
It
feel
could
like
just
I feel like men underrate that type of thing too for women. They
exactly
actually
like
1000% underrate that.
yeah, that there's very subtle, small things that women will appreciate that men just kind of got lost because, like I said, I live in Atlanta, so everybody wants to flex, everybody wants to do that. So men have taken it to the extreme to trying to do the extreme things, and like I said, tricking off and doing things like that. And
Yeah,
I think you were talking about it a little bit where men chase the women a little too hard,
yeah, too hard. Yeah,
and then you end up looking stupid in the
but
end.
I think like a couple months back, I saw a video of a guy who was like complaining on the internet about like he flew out a girl and she didn't want to have sex with him, and I'm like, okay, like. Why would like okay? She first of all, she's not obliged to like have sex with you because you flew her out.
Right,
Second
right,
of all, like so that's exactly what I mean by doing way too much. Like because
exactly.
I think he said he flew her out, then spent $5,000 like
Yeah, I think I seen
transport.
the video. They were like the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
I
That's
seen
the
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, like when I saw, I found it quite stupid on the guy's part. I didn't like, okay, what the girl did was bad, but like I found the guy more stupid, in my opinion.
100%. Like, and in those type of situations, I do kind of see both sides of it. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I
I
see
see
both
both.
sides. I see both sides, but I agree 100% with the woman that one, she's not obliged to have sex with you. She doesn't
Yeah,
have to. Like, if she wants to, cool. But if she wants to say no, that's also should be cool. On the same end, you gotta be an idiot to fly a girl out there,
yeah,
spend $5,000, and for whatever reason, like that's the type of shit you do for a woman you're married to,
yeah. Even if not married, like even like someone
or
you're,
just somebody you've been with for quite a while. You know what I
yeah,
mean, or that you're in a serious relationship with. But just a woman that you, it doesn't seem like you know her that well.
yeah. I think it was like a first date type of thing. So
Yeah,
like,
and you
and
know
I'm
you,
like, okay,
and I was like, what? That just doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like the man is just trying to flex his wealth, and that's the problem. You were
yeah.
just trying to flex a little
The
bit.
funny thing is that girls would mostly pick a guy who would simply just like maybe send her a good morning text and tell her, "Oh, I bought you lunch today," over such a type of guy, like the type of guy that
Absolutely.
just want to fly. Because first of all, because to the girl, if the girl just meets the guy for the first time and the guy offers to fly her out, she would just see it as like a free experience,
Yeah,
like a free
yeah.
trip. Like, oh, okay, oh well. Like she doesn't, and even if, and funny things that even if you're attractive, she won't actually find you attractive just because we see that okay, he's just trying to impress me and hit and dip or whatever.
Yeah, like it's what's funny is that type of shit is like the opposite of attraction, right? It's very
Yeah,
unattractive. Like, one, you just met me and then you're willing to fly me out. It's like it's like you said, some
yeah,
women may go for the free trip or the free experience or whatnot, but she's gonna be in her head like, this guy, he might be weird or he might be
yeah,
this, right?
yeah,
Like, because he's flying me out, he doesn't even really know me. But like you said, the little things that you said, I definitely find that women value more, like sending the good morning text, offering to pay for lunch this day, or sending flowers, or just sending
yeah.
very, you know what I'm
Even
saying?
just telling them how like beautiful they are, like or listening to their rants, because sometimes women love to rant. So just
Oh
the
yeah,
fact that you're engaging in the rant and just like conversating, like okay, how was Susan at work today, whatever, like they
yeah,
actually enjoy all that.
exactly. So, no, I definitely agree with that. That men can be, and those type of men that do the flying out, especially for women they just met, they're like the ones that are at the extreme levels of
Yeah, those ones
doing
are
way too
very
much.
different.
Like, cause me personally, I could never. Like,
No, I could never.
I couldn't even do
Like,
a
I
long.
need to be super serious with you. Like,
Yeah, like I don't even think I could do a long distance relationship. So if we met and we don't live in the same city, I'm automatically not even into
nah,
it no more.
I'm not doing.
You know what I mean? Because
I think the closest I could do is like, okay, let's like, unless I'm going to go visit you, like, or one, like, I'm coming to your city for something, but that's pretty much it.
yeah, it's like just like if you were close enough, like in driving distance, like maybe 2 hours,
Yeah, two
then
hours is fine. Well,
yeah, then we can make it work. But if you're like 8, 9 hours away, then it's like it's just not gonna work
it's not
because I'm
gonna
also
work.
the type of guy where quality time and physical touch are like some love languages that are important
Yeah,
to me.
same here,
And
same here.
if we can't consistently spend time with each other, then it's just not gonna work for me personally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So nah, man, yeah, some guys definitely don't value themselves. So What do you think men need to do? I guess like a generalized thing to understand the value in themselves.
I feel like one of the things they should first do is reevaluate themselves. That's the very first thing. Like evaluate yourself. Like, okay, see, check for areas that you're lacking. You're like, okay, is your skin if okay, you look at your skin, is it popping? You now
Mm,
try to get some skincare. Then you might, if you look at your physical stature, are you physically fit? If that makes sense.
And
So
you're
like
not
try to,
talking about like the bodybuilder fit. You're just
not
talking about like
bodybuilder, but like even
just
like just have like a bit of physique, you know.
yeah, okay.
There's that, and also like try to like w- reevaluate how like you approach women. Like, okay, look at yourself from a different perspective. Like, okay, like
Mm,
the way I'm approaching women, you can even ask, if you have female friends, you can ask them that, okay, is this is how I approach women. Like, this the practice run. Do you think this is okay to say, what to say to a woman? Do you think it sounds quite creepy or whatever? Because I actually find that like there are some guys who actually don't know how to talk to women.
oh,
Like
I
there's
already
some,
know.
I've heard some pretty crazy things from guys, like how they move to women. So that's why I actually feel like that's actually like a very strong one.
Yeah. And to your point, it's funny that you said that men don't know how to really have conversations with women, and I 1000% agree because I've seen guys try to have conversations with women, and they're the most awkward conversations, and they're sometimes a little too rushed. Like they're
Yeah,
asking certain questions that shouldn't be asked in that moment. Like a lot of times, if you meet a woman, you could just have the most general conversation and everything will be smooth. Like, hey, how are you? You know, how was your day?
yeah,
Cool, you look nice today. I like what you have on. Just very simple things just to kind of see where the interest level is. Because automatically, when you approach a woman, you're gonna know if she's interested or not.
yeah, definitely. I
Like
feel
one,
like because I think there's a psychological rule that like from the first 5 seconds a woman says "I" on you, she already knows if she wants to be with you or not.
yeah,
Or,
one
yeah,
thousand percent. She's gonna know if she's gonna be interested or not. Like it's
yeah,
not gonna take the whole dramatics and all that and flying the chick out. You don't need to do all that shit.
true.
But just to your other point, man, in terms of self care, why do you think men kind of stop themselves from having a self-care routine, like getting up, washing their face, you know what I'm saying, taking 15, 20 minutes out of their day to do some level of physical activity, whether that's, like I said, I get up every morning and walk the dogs, you know, it could be something as simple as that. Why do you think men stop themselves from just taking care of themselves, and why do you think that they only want to do it in the presence or in the spotlight of a woman?
Now the reason why like guys actually don't even have a second thought about even going into the self care thing is because first of all there's this whole like image of self care is feminine and all that, and
Mm.
it's not like if a guy is doing that you okay like that's kind of gay and all that. So I feel like until that narrative is like taken out, that's the only way like we as like men could actually improve and see that okay like and funny things that some women are actually attracted to men who actually take care of themselves physically, like like do a night care routine, like you do some nice grooming, just stretch in the morning and all that, like just have a proper like morning routine and all that.
No, I 1000% agree with that because I can only imagine. Like, I give you an example, and ladies, if you're listening, you could tell me if I'm wrong. You meet a guy, you start dating, right? You guys get to a comfortable level where one of you end up spending the night at each other's houses, right? Let's say it was a great night. You wake up the next morning. I can almost guarantee that the woman is going to be 1000% more attractive if she gets up and see the guy in the in the bathroom washing his face.
Dead ass, yeah.
100 1000%.
1000%. That's
1000%. I
you,
can she's going to walk in and be like, "Damn, what is that? What are you using?" "Oh, that's
it's just
dope,
like
baby."
and women go crazy if they see that like you share like the same products like CeraVe
Yeah,
face
like
wash, or like they'd be like, oh, he uses this, he uses the serum, he uses this
that
night cream, whatever.
that opens up a whole new level of her being attracted to you, you being attracted to her, another level of conversations that you guys can have,
Yeah.
another way that you guys can relate
and
to
and,
each
and,
other.
that, and that already pulls you out of like the normal league of men who just like
Yeah.
basically like wakes up to just even some men don't even wash their face with anything.
No, they just get
Some
up
men
and go.
just get up and go, yeah, basically. So that already takes you out of like the normal pool of men who's just basic to a different level, which is quite higher, basically.
Yeah, yeah. You're no longer in that league no more. You're elevated. You're somewhere else. That
Yeah,
she
so
sees you in
you're
a
a
whole new
different level,
light.
man.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very, very, very important that men do take care of themselves, which is why I was excited when I got the facial brand of Vino to do a campaign with me, because then I was able to kind of just show my facial routine, just be more
That's good.
comfortable with it and whatnot. So, no, men, please take care of your face. It's very
Everyone
important.
does.
Nobody wants to be out here aging like, you know what I'm saying, like milk. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, in terms of physique wise, what kind of advice would you give to a man that maybe a little bit more insecure about his body?
This one I could even talk from personal experience. So before I used to be like super skinny until like I started taking my fitness journey seriously and all that. So for physique wise, I'd say like, cause like when I first started gymming, okay. One of the reasons why I started working out was, okay, this one because one of my exes was still taken away from me by like someone who was quite physically big. So and I
Mm,
was like skinny, so I was like, oh damn, because he had muscles and all that. So I started working out in the gym and hitting harder and all that. Then I now got big, but then that's when I now realized that like even for when you're working out, you should like women are mostly not attracted to guys who are overly like massive. So
yeah.
that's why whenever people ask me, "Oh, what's the best physique like to get?" and all, I usually just say go for something that's quite lean, but not too big, but like you just have a like average muscle. So I always think of like an athlete build mostly.
Mm. Okay, what advice would you give, like I said, to a guy who just wants to he's trying to start, but like I said, he's just probably a little insecure. And sometimes the gym scene can be a little intimidating.
So if you're just trying to start, I just advise, okay, how you could start off is like every morning, just do like a 30-minute stretch, like
Yeah.
the bare minimum. That's it. Or even not 30-minute stretch, like in the morning, just go out for a walk for like maybe so you can start off with 20 minutes, then from the upper 40 minutes, up it to like maybe an hour. Just simply move your body around, basically.
Nice. Yeah.
Because,
And
because just even the woman just sharing that, oh, like she asked you, oh, how's your day? Be like, okay, I just came back from a 40-minute walk this evening or whatever. She'd actually be intrigued because most men don't go on like just personal walks just to clear their head. Because
that is true.
most men don't do that. So
That's very, very true.
even if you tell her like, she asked you how's your morning, and you say, oh, I did a 30-minute yoga stretch and all that, she'd actually be quite impressed because like that's actually good for your health, one, and two, like,
Absolutely.
guys don't do that regularly. And I feel like as a guy, if you want to get like more girls at you, or if you want to want to have a higher win rate with girls, try to like take yourself out of the normal competition. Like do things that the normal competition isn't doing. Basically, like reevaluate. That's why I like think, and also at the same time, it's helping you on your own part too. Like the
Mm,
skincare stuff, it's gonna help you also, and also help you attract more valuable girls too,
yeah. That's
and
the
also
important piece. The valuable girls, not
the
just any
valuable,
girls,
not just anyone.
valuable ones.
Yeah,
No, for sure, man. I agree with it. And I try to work out regularly. Like I said, I try to stay active. I take my dogs on hikes. I just try to do very, very
yeah,
normal things to just take care of my body. Obviously, because I really just started to value it a whole lot more because I went through a very scary medical issue or whatnot.
oh, okay,
So it put in perspective that number one, you can't buy health. Like
yeah,
when I was in the hospital, there was nothing I could do. There was no amount
that's
of
more
money I could
scary
spend
thing. Yeah,
that was going to get me out of the hospital. So it put into perspective for me that health is the number one thing you should be taking care of, because no matter where you go, no matter what you do, if something happens, you won't be able to buy yourself a new body. You won't be able to buy
yeah,
yourself anything. You know what I mean? So even if you get yourself like a new heart, like a heart transplant, it's not the same.
it's never gonna be the same. That's
You know
what.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's always important that men and women should value themselves from a health perspective, because life is short at the end of the day.
yeah,
And you only get one of them, so you should be doing your best to elevate and take care of them. Not even just for yourself, but you also don't want to be the parent that's not able to go to their kid's football game or go to their daughter's track meet
yeah.
because you're not physically able. You know what I mean? So now
Correct.
that's just past the relationship standpoint. You just want to be able to be there for the important things in life.
Like yeah,
So that's a great point. And to kind of piggyback on it, I think, like you said, men should start stretching.
yeah,
Should just try to, yeah,
good.
should try to just take simple walks, or just kind of evaluate yourself in your home. Like try to do 10 push-ups, or try to start with 5, or
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying,
it.
doing a couple sit-ups, just doing little things at home to just try to get yourself comfortable. Because like I said, the gym scene can be intimidating for someone who may be insecure. So just start at home. You know what I'm saying? Get your homie to come help, or you know what I'm saying, tap a friend and just, hey, let's try to do some push-ups today, or just try to go for a run, or just try to go for a walk, things like that. So
And I also add like men should also men can also read like self-empowerment books to improve
Mm,
their knowledge too sometimes.
yeah,
So like because sometimes because some of those books actually would help you like get a better like grasp of yourself. Some of them would help you give you advice on how to be um more financially stable. Some of
yeah.
them would give you like basically just as like I'll just say basically men should start reading more books basically.
No, I agree with that, man, because books are very important, and I read books that it it opens up your mind to a new perspective of thinking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
some men, or especially me, sometimes I may not be looking at something or thinking about something from the right perspective or from the right lens. So then when I do come across something in a book that just kind of opens up my mind, and it's like, damn, I never thought of it that way. Like I never seen
yeah.
it that way. Like for instance, when I think about goals in life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think about being back when I was 2021, right? I used to be so hard on myself for not being where I just felt like I should have been.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's so crazy to me, especially with the state of, and that's a lot to do with the state of social media now, where these young kids are coming up 15, 16, 17. They're seeing these YouTubers or these social media influencers who are 2021 doing
yeah.
such major things.
Especially
And
like the e-commerce in the e-commerce world, especially yeah, the
you know what I
dropshipping
mean? And
and
so
all that.
they're putting so much pressure on themselves at 18, 19 that oh, in 2 years I gotta be rich, or in 2 years I have to be this.
Yeah,
When in reality, when you start reading these books, the average, the average, very, very average age group of a millionaire starts from 35 and up.
that's facts.
You
That's
know what I
facts.
mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're putting this pressure on yourself as an 18, 19-year-old kid to reach a level that most men, most people
and the
don't
worst part,
reach.
and the worst part is that the people that are looking up to, most of them are living like a fake life, basically.
Exactly. Exactly. And they also have to understand that the 1% rule is very real, right? Just
Yeah,
because you see this very small group of people who were able to reach this level of success at a young age, that does not mean it's gonna happen to you.
no, but also the internet doesn't help too, though, because if you think of it, like okay, I've seen ads on YouTube and whatever. There's be like how to make $1 million in 10 seconds,
Oh,
how to
absolutely.
start a
Absolutely.
business in 5 days, how to make this and so like the internet also makes it worse for the kids too. And I think that's
Absolutely.
what's like brainwashing people a lot these days.
Absolutely. It's put a lot of pressure on the younger generation to want to achieve something at a much, much, much younger age than when I was like, you know what I'm saying? Than my brothers, my older brothers' generation, right? They had more than enough time to reach the level of success that they have. They had 10 plus years, you know, but us
Yeah,
coming out of high school, we felt like we only had 2, 3 years. Like we ain't have it by the end. And it was like, oh shit, what
yeah,
we gonna do?
that's true.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's very important that these kids understand that they have time. They have more than enough time.
yeah,
They do not have to be wealthy by, you know what I'm saying, 2021. They don't even have to be making six figures by 2021, you know? And I think
yeah,
a lot of kids kind of forget about the process. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? I want to be like you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's a process. It's a very, very
yeah.
long
Like that's
process.
the thing, people always forget like the process can take time.
Yeah.
Some people, yeah, there's some people who can be lucky that yeah, it can take them a month or two or whatever. Why there's some people who's taking them 20, even 30 years. They're like because they're okay, they're actors, celebrities or whatever who didn't get their big break till they're like what their 40s. So
Yep.
they need to understand that like everything takes time. If you're just that when the time is right, it'll just unveil itself basically.
Yeah. And you have to also, what I tell people is that you have to be dedicated to what you're doing, right? Like if you're out here and you're only in it for the purpose of money, financials,
Yeah,
then you're gonna
most of that.
realize that, yeah, you're gonna realize that you're gonna fall on your face a lot of the time, right? The
Yeah,
people who are actually out here chasing it behind a passion, those are the ones who's gonna see the success a little early on, because they don't really care about the money. They don't really care how it comes. They're not out of 10. They don't care about numbers. They're doing whatever it is strictly out of passion. Like look at, do you know who Keith is? The guy on TikTok.
yeah.
Who, like,
Uh,
so
he's
if
actually
you,
quite inspiring. Yeah,
he is super inspiring because if you look at
yeah, yeah.
his path and the way that he came into it, like he only got into TikTok because he had a social anxiety, right? When he was
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
big.
I was so shocked. I was like, because even with, and I didn't click on down his videos because I just wondered why he's so straightforward. Like even the
Yeah,
way he,
like I used to wonder that too.
Like he never moves or interacts like okay, smile, whatever.
Right.
So when I heard that like he has social media, I was like, oh, okay, makes more sense now.
Yeah, and he literally just does his videos. Like he's not out here chasing money. He's not out here flexing. He's not doing anything
Yeah.
crazy. He literally just doing something that he's just a little passionate about, that he's happy doing, and you can see where the success is taking him. Another example, look at Mr. Beast. He literally does not
Don't
care
take
about the
it.
money. He will spend millions on his videos if he has to. He literally just enjoys creating the content and enjoys creating brands that are long lasting. And there's
Yeah.
so many other examples, but those are just like the two major ones that
Major ones
you
right
can,
now, I feel.
yeah, you can see that where passion gets you versus if a guy's just chasing money, then it's like you're not going to be in this game long. And trust me, I've seen it. I've been on social media for quite a while where I see people come in and they start doing things for the money. They're going to fizzle out very quickly.
And sometimes the fame gets to some people's head.
Oh,
They're like,
absolutely.
and that now also makes it 10 times worse. And they
Absolutely.
fumble everything.
Yeah. So staying humble is very important. If you reach a certain status, it shouldn't change who you are. Obviously, it may change the people around you.
Yeah,
You know,
that's okay sometimes.
yeah, but it shouldn't change your core values of who you are. Now, when they
Because,
do start to affect your core values, like you said, they're gonna start to just do dumb things for the money. They start to wild out a little bit, and
and what they tend to miss out is that like the people who first started following you, they followed that original personality of you.
exactly,
So you changing yourself will not make you lose people who have been like on your journey so far. Because at the end of the
exactly,
day, it's your fans who brought you up there. So and your fans had this like what they saw at first, and the reason why they followed you is what would carry them on to like the end of the day and all that.
yeah. Now, that's actually a phenomenal point, especially for those who may be looking to become a social media influencer. Is that valuing the people who started with you
Yeah,
is very important. You never want to change on them. You want to be that original person that made them help you grow, because those original people that followed you, those are the core fans. Those are the ones who helped you get to where you
where
are
you
now.
were. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like without those core fans, you wouldn't be up there. Like they
yeah.
had to start that for you. They had to go out there and start watching you. They had to give you those couple thousand
I
views at
was so
first.
yeah.
Yeah, they had to put the hours into you to help you reach where you are now. So it's very important that you value those core fans, because those core fans are going to follow your core values.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So, nah, man. So I know you said you were a model.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that? I know that you said at one point you were a little insecure about your physique and that you were skinny. So how did you make the transition from that to then getting your physique right and then decide to start modeling? That's a
So
big jump.
yeah, okay, so how I started off was that okay, as I said, I had the break. This was like I've been a model for about 4 or 5 years now, but like so I think about 4 or 5 years ago, so I had a tough breakup with a girl, and because she cheated on me with with someone who was bigger, good looking, and all that. So after that happened, and I said, okay, I'm gonna change my life around and all that. So I started going to the gym, putting in more work, started taking care of my skin more. Then I now applied to like multiple agencies, took a couple, made a whole portfolio and all that. And by surprise, it actually worked out so good. And that's why I'm also always heavy on like, okay, men should improve themselves. Because also, if I have also this page I made 2 years ago, like it's called like it's like a self empowerment page. It's called Born Billionaire Club and all that. But the modeling thing, this was the reason why like I now saw that okay, like if you put yourself first, things will come to you naturally. Was that when the modeling thing, I didn't even start it myself. It was one of my friends who was already a model that she now recommended and say, oh, I should apply and all that. And then I applied, and then I got an agent. I got signed to an agency and everything. One of my first few gigs, I had a gig with Nike. Then I now had a gig with YSL. Right, currently I'm the ambassador to Boo Man, like ambassador to Boo Man and all that. And I said, like and ever since then, I've just been like living that kind of lifestyle. Like, okay, because I also have a skincare routine. I go to the gym regularly. I try to like stay active once in a while. Like, okay, I don't stretch every morning, but I try to stretch like maybe 2-3 times a week at least, at the very least.
Nice.
So yeah.
No, that's
So that's
super
why like,
dope.
I'm always heavy on like, because back then, and the reason why when I started, I realized that my difference in like when my life switched was that before I started doing all these things, I wasn't getting like the girls I truly want. I was getting like okay, whatever's out there and all that. But once I started like living a better life, I even started dressing better. I switched up my style. Like I stopped wearing like I used to be a huge fan because I was making good money. So I used to be a huge fan of like Amiri t-shirts, like Off-White, all that. I had all of that. So like I now started switching from that to now getting like okay, spending more money on cologne, spending more money on like buying like if I'm going on a dinner date, I'd wear like a dress pant and a nice dress shirt. Like started like dressing more to an occasion. Like if I'm going, like if I listen, me and a girl are going to the cinema, I'd wear something like this, like just a jeans and t-shirt. If I'm going on a dinner date and it's fancy, I would wear like a nice dress shirt, spray some nice cologne or whatever. And
Mm,
this and women are usually, and then I started like applying, okay, giving flowers and all that. And that's when I realized, okay, like women are more attracted to this because most times I like when the women actually tell me that, oh, that they've actually never seen this and seen guys do this before, and I'm like, okay, because most same here in Canada, like most guys are usually used to wearing designer stuff, and also guys of my caliber too, that they usually used to wearing like like extreme designers, shoot head to toe, regardless of the occasion and all that. And as I
mm,
said, girls would usually just see you if you're in that like as a wallet basically, if you're dressed like that.
no, that's a good point. Mainly because I do see some men not have a versatile style.
That's
They
correct.
only have one type of style, and that's the urban style. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The designer or whatnot. That's kind of like their one style. And then, and when I say style, I mean like a consistent way of knowing how to dress. Not saying that, if you go to a graduation, you know how to put on a dress shirt. I'm not saying that. I'm
yeah,
saying that you know how to consistently live in that moment and know how to dress in that style is what I mean. So, now you made a good point, man. So, how would you said the modeling thing is going good for you right now?
yeah.
And so, what do you see that going like long term?
Long term, I see, because I'm also trying to transition into like acting and all that. Because
Mm,
because also I do like commercial gigs, but I'm trying to go into like the proper like full time acting. So I'm just like, if I get a pretty good gig, because even a few days ago I got a gig from Disney, like just a short commercial. Is in Florida and all that. So, but I can't go for the one day because I think I have something going on during that time. But long term wise, if it takes me that far, I'd actually do it. Like, let's
sheesh.
say if it takes me to like a big movie or whatever.
Yeah. You said you got a gig with Disney.
Yeah,
Dope. Yeah, you got to explain that. What does that look like?
it's just a simple commercial, like
Yeah.
because like for the Disney World commercial. So, and this one like I didn't find that big because I've done bigger gigs. I've done with YSL. I have
Yeah.
friends who've done with Gucci. I even have a friend who's been in Drake's music video. So that's why like in my like okay like the Disney one, like sometimes because there are some gigs I've turned down, and there's some gigs that like I've actually like when I saw it I was like, okay, wow, like the YSL one was the biggest one. Then a couple weeks back I got an email from Google Man to be their brand ambassador. So that I think that's one of my biggest sponsorships so far.
Nice.
So that
I mean, power to you. Props for sure that you're making waves in that modeling industry. Sounds like. So you said you want to be an actor. So in terms of like actors, who are those role models who you look towards? Like, I would want to be like this guy. Not necessarily the acting style, but the prowess in it, the business etiquette, things like that. Like for me, it'd have to be like Kevin Hart, the way
oh
that he came up.
that's actually quite funny because that's exactly what I was gonna mention.
Yeah, like he literally came up, stay true to the people around him. Like all of his
Yeah,
friends worked with his Heartbeat Productions.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I see that business etiquette. And I'm like,
The
wow,
reason why I was
that's
going to call Kevin Hart because I think he also owns a second business. I think he sells like his own liquor. So I appreciate I love that about him that like even if he's big in the acting industry, he still has like one of his other business passions. And I think he opened up a restaurant at some point. I think he sells burgers.
mm,
You know, like so he, like basically he has multiple businesses regardless of the money he's making from acting and even some from his like sponsorships and all that.
yeah,
Like he's still chasing his other passions. And that's what I want to do. Like even if like I get big into the acting or modeling industry, I still want to like open up a business or something of some sort and just like have multiple sources of income basically.
yeah. No, for sure, man. And even like Kevin Hart and The Rock are probably like top two for me because even The Rock has like the major tequila brand Terramano or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I know
So it's like I look at those type of people and I'm like, even though people are giving The Rock a hard time about Black Adam right now, but
yeah, that's
his
true.
business etiquette is still unmatched. The way he has positioned himself coming out of the WWE to becoming one of the highest paid actors in the world, you can't really be mad at that. Like, not a lot of people can do that. We've
Yeah.
seen John Cena attempt. I mean, John Cena's a phenomenal actor, but even then, he hasn't reached the level
He's
of The
not he's
Rock.
not reached a level
Yeah,
yet.
we've seen Batista do it, even though he's a great actor. I still don't think he's reached.
Funny thing is that it was the Rock who paved the way for all these other people.
Oh, for sure, that's what I think. Like he opened that door, even though there's
Because
like I
when he
said,
first started off, people didn't have that much faith in him. Because I had friends who would say, like, when he first started off, they were like, "Nah, he's not gonna last long, like in the acting industry
like
and
you
all
you
that."
you honestly can't be mad at a guy who, even though they say he plays himself in every movie, you can't be mad at a guy who plays himself in every movie and is still in every movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like
Like, it just you just can't be mad at it. Like, if I can go and play myself in every movie I play in, I damn sure would.
I would definitely,
Anybody
and,
would.
and that's one of the reasons why I love Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because I
for
love Adam
sure.
Sandler because like even like the way he plays movies is exactly the same way he is in real life.
Yeah, it's like if anybody would do that. I know some people want to be like the versatile actor and they want to be the Denzel Washingtons, and that's cool. And that's
Yeah.
I love that for you. But if I can make the money that The Rock is making by playing my damn self in every
Mm.
single movie I play in, I would do it. It makes it that much easier to just be in that industry. You know, not everybody's gonna be Denzel. Shit, it may not be anybody that can be Denzel.
True.
You know what I mean? So you can't really be mad at the guy. Like, and he took a risk with Black Adam. Obviously, it didn't work out. I didn't really care for the movie, and I see
I
that it,
didn't, yeah, I
yeah,
didn't really,
I could tell that it was a huge risk for him because I could. It just looked to me he was uncomfortable in the role.
yeah. Because even when I saw it, I was like, The Rock for real? Like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it didn't fit, but shit happens. He took a risk. It didn't work out, and he just keeps moving. But yeah, man. So is there any other topics that you kind of want to just kind of throw out? How you feeling? What other topics you feel like we need to dive into?
one of the topics I feel like we can talk about is how women sorry how did I put this, is that first especially about like give men hints about how to talk to women, you know, because especially
Ooh,
and one thing I want to emphasize on is that men should please stop, like let's say like for the first 24 hours you're talking to a woman, ask her about like, okay, do you want to come to my house, or
ooh,
even, and also especially like for a first, and men should stop suggesting for a first date to be their house.
ooh! That is a phenomenal thing. One,
Yeah.
because ladies, please stay safe. Some men are crazy out
The men are crazy, man.
here.
I don't
Stay
know
safe
about that. Like,
out
I've
here.
heard some pretty crazy things. So, like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stay safe. Stay safe. So here's my perspective on how men should approach a woman. So I give it from how I would do it.
okay.
So if I see a woman that I think is attractive, both from a personality standpoint and from a physical standpoint, I'll probably approach her, but it's not going to be anything. And I'm never the type to try to invite you on a date from the second I meet you. I just
Yeah.
want to kind of talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Just,
Talk
what I'm
about it. Yeah.
saying? Where you from? You know what I'm saying? What kind of goals you got? If you went to college, what did you major in? Did you get your degree? Just little, very simple
Like small
things.
talk,
Like,
basically.
yeah, just make small talk. And then, like I said, if the small talk continues on, in my head, I would probably think she's interested. Like, no woman's gonna sit there and just entertain the conversation if she's really not interested, especially
Yeah.
if you're not talking about anything.
1,000%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So from there, we'll probably exchange information, and then it will start from the small things from there. Like, we'll conversate. We'll probably make jokes here and there, but then it'll lean into the good night text, the
Yeah.
good morning text, just little small things, and then it can lead into a first date type of thing. Like, hey, what are you doing this evening? You say you don't have
Because,
any plans, and it's like,
because in my opinion, I feel like if you want to ask a woman on a first date, it should be after like you've spoken to her for like at least 48, or not at least 48 hours, you know, like
yeah.
2 days of like texting back and forth. Because I don't know, like that's just quite weird. Like you just met someone today, you asked on a date next day.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, I agree with that. I cannot go on a date with a person when I just met them.
yeah, unless the only time that could kind of be like acceptable is if like let's say you guys met at a day party and you
Yeah,
guys talked like for like let's say 5-6 hours and like it was super good, conversation was phenomenal and everything. Then yeah, and she kind of like hints it to you. Then yeah, sure, you can
right.
kind of go for it, but and that's quite rare. But yeah, that's the only situation that could kind
Yeah,
of.
because it's like, uh, why I say I agree with that 48-hour rule. Like, you want to text back and forth, you want to get to know the person because you want the first date to be good, right?
Yeah,
But you just can't take a date. You can't take anyone on a date if you don't know what the person likes.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
You're
Yeah,
taking a girl to an Italian restaurant when she likes seafood, but you don't know that because you didn't
you don't
ask.
know that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good to have those conversations back and forth.
And the reason why I also emphasize on that is that sometimes, like, also just to avoid this too, because sometimes you could go on a date, like, and what especially dinner dates, because if you're going for dinner or drinks, like, you're gonna have to conversate with that person. So you have
Yeah,
to know, like, okay, is this person good enough to talk to me on text? It's like, or
exactly.
if the person is a bad texter, like, or is this, or even if not text, or FaceTime sometimes, you don't want to go to a date and then you find out like, okay, it's gonna be quite awkward. Like,
Yeah,
she doesn't talk much. She's kind of person that like you ask her what questions and she's like, yes, no. She doesn't like engage with you in conversations. Like you need to know, okay, so like is this person gonna engage with me? Is this person like, you know, like talk like interactive and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I agree with you. That texting, that 48-hour period is very important. You get the
Yeah.
and you learn enough about a person to know if you do want to take them on a date,
Yeah,
and that's
definitely.
good. And it's from her perspective too. Like she's gonna know enough about you if she knows that she wants to go on a date with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that. That men should be a little bit more patient. Like you don't got to meet
Yeah.
a girl and then you're
That's the
asking her like,
way.
"Hey, what are you doing? You can come kick it at the crib with me." That's like no. And ladies, if you want my advice, I feel like that's a red flag because if I
That's
just met a chick
that's a red flag to me
and
too.
she
I'm not
told me
gonna
to come
lie.
to her crib or whatnot, I think that's a red flag. Like because I'm thinking about it like if you just met me and you're asking me to come to your crib, I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? How many other niggas have you invited just come to the crib after you just met? I was like, come on.
Facts,
You know what I
especially,
mean?
and sometimes like even the scenario could even make it work 10 times worse. Like
Yeah.
if you tell me that and like well, I could see you're drunk and we're at a party or something, I'd be like, okay, like how many of the guys have you in the same party or in the same club have you told this to, like, you know?
Right. You know what I mean? But one thing I will say that is one of the most attractive things to me that a woman can do. Like if we do meet and we're texting here and there and she initiates the date, I'm like, oh shit. It makes me feel like I gotta step
Yeah,
my shit up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, all right. Like if we're texting and she's
and
like, hey,
that's usually kind of attractive though.
that's very attractive. Like if we're
Yeah,
texting and she's like, hey, what you doing this evening or what you doing today? And I'm like, I got a few plans, but I'm a little free later. She's like, hey, let's go here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go
yeah.
in. I'd be like, oh
And I
shit,
feel like
okay.
women should start doing that more because I don't think they realize how attractive that is. Like I
Oh
don't know if
man,
women
what?
try to hear that, but if they start doing that more, they would actually like tend to like get more men in their pool and all that.
Yeah, and like that's super. Like if she initiates the whole thing and comes up with the idea, it's like damn. Then it puts me in a position like wherever we're gonna do for that second date, I gotta come hard.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
step my
definitely.
game up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she initiated the first one, so whatever that second shit we gonna do, that second date, I gotta make sure it's A1 because she stepped her game up
Because on a regular day, we men don't get we don't get this kind of treatment. That's why
No,
we
no,
actually
for
like
sure.
we love it.
For sure. So it's a little rare that a woman does initiate it. You know what I mean? But it's good. So women, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to initiate that first
Not
date,
be
especially
afraid
if
to
you're
do that.
interested and he's interested. Don't be afraid to kind of take that first step. For sure.
No, but the major reason why women don't like do it, they mostly say that like they're scared of rejection and all that. And I get that too, but I
Yeah.
feel like in this day and age, like rejection shouldn't be a big, like super big problem.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, not everyone's gonna want everyone like,
Yeah.
not you're gonna get rejected by someone eventually. So I feel like if you should step off from your comfort zone once in a while, you know?
Yeah. No, I think you should definitely be. And I think that's like a part of insecurity. But I think everybody should be comfortable with some level of rejection because
Yeah,
not even just relationship wise, but rejection is just going to come in life in general.
yeah.
You're not gonna go through life with everybody and everything being said yes to you. You're gonna get
Yeah,
rejected.
yeah. What else? Yeah.
You know what I
And,
mean? So you should be comfortable with rejection. Like if you're trying to talk to a guy, ladies, and he says he's not interested, oh well. Or guys, if you're trying to, and that's really big with guys too. Like if you're trying to talk to a woman, bro, and she says no, just leave it alone.
just leave it alone,
We
please.
see too many instances where guys get in their feelings and they're physically hurting these women
Yeah.
simply because they don't want to talk
And
to
you
you.
know, another point I want to bring up from what you just said is that guys should please start like guys should first understand like where the like okay if a guy knows that he's a 5 and he knows what he attracts, like he should stop. He should know that okay, this is a pool of women I can attract. Like they should stop overstretching. Like okay, you know that you're a
Yeah.
5 and you're overstretching to go for a 9.5, and you're shocked that okay, girl who's a 9 is like rejecting you. So I feel like as a guy, you should know your like way, like type of woman that's in your pool or in your bracket, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, and
Yeah,
I can see a
because
level
guys
of
tend
that
to go like
because
guys tend to go for girls that who are way out of their league, and you know that like okay, this woman's like way past my league and all that.
right, and I think that's kind of aids into their insecurity because they may want that level of woman, and that's cool. We all can want
Yeah, we can
what we
want, you
can't.
can want,
Yeah, we
yeah,
can always want what we can't have. Like that's natural. That's human nature. But to your point, men should have like a realistic ideal of who
yeah,
they can attract because like I said, I live in Atlanta. I know if I go to a club, the chick that's standing on top of the section, she's not going for a guy like me because I'm not the one in here popping bottles. I'm not the one in here that's making
yeah,
sure she has a good time. So she's not gonna go for the guy like me. So I'm not even gonna waste my time because I'm gonna get
yeah,
rejected. Like it's cool. I can live without that.
yeah,
I can go for the girl sitting at the bar chilling, smoking her hookah or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, for
So
you,
It's almost like understanding the type of woman that you're trying to go for.
Yeah, that's
It
the
doesn't
best
really,
thing for it. Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't really necessarily have to be like a 9 or a 10 type of situation. It just be like, if you're the guy who's just standing around at the bar, you shouldn't be trying to go talk to the girl that's sitting in the middle of the section. You know what I mean? Like y'all are on two different wavelengths. Like, or if you're in the mall and you're, you know what I'm saying, you're just in there chilling, you're not really shopping, but there's a girl walking down with 3 Louis Vuitton bags. She
Yeah,
just made, yeah, you know what I mean?
that's
Like,
crazy. Yeah,
y'all are just at two different
two
levels,
different levels. Yeah,
and that's okay. Like, that woman may just go for a man who
man.
just can afford that type of lifestyle, and if you can at that particular time, that's okay. Take your loss and just keep it moving. There's nothing wrong with being a
And,
man who
and that's
just,
why I emphasize on like men need to like know their self worth, because some men, like, even if they know that, okay, as you said, the girl with the Louis Vuitton bag, some men would try their best, very best, to like impress that girl, like even with
yeah,
the last penny in their account, like the bank account, like they'll
yeah,
go get money from their friends just to like buy the girl like for her birthday, maybe like what, a Goyard bar bag and all that.
yeah,
And that's, and I find that, and I see that common amongst like most men. That's why I said that like men need to understand, okay, their value, and go for what they know is within that, like their pool.
yeah,
Like, okay, this is
and
the
that's
type of girl I
okay.
go for, and yeah, that's quite okay to, like, you don't have to try to go for the girl who buys like what, 3 Louis Vuitton bags in one go, who spends about 10,000 on herself for sell call on high make, because she's high maintenance and all that.
All right, yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like you said, some guys do want that, and they end up going beyond their limits to be able to please that woman.
Yeah,
And when in reality, you know what I'm saying, the average girl is very, very perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Phenomenal,
That's
easy.
perfect.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's so many levels and layers to it that I think men just kind of miss out on. They just see this ideal woman, and I think part of it just comes from social media.
yeah, 1,000.
That
Yeah,
Yeah, we see these women on social media, and they have like the lifestyles, or they appear to have these
yeah, period. Yeah,
lifestyles.
because sometimes
Yeah.
I tend to find out that some of these women, they don't even have the money, like, or
Oh
live the
yeah,
life they say. Yeah, I've
for
seen that a lot.
sure.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen it with my own eyes, both in
Yeah,
person and on social media. So I think that men should just be realistic with themselves, and like you said in the beginning, just start putting themselves first. Like, get away from this
because
ideal on social
yeah,
media and all of this shit. The woman that you may see, and like, and just take care of yourself.
yeah, because at the end of the day, women only have this small pool. Like, if you think of it, yeah, women actually are the ones who, like, they don't have that much choice when it comes to men, because most women don't approach men, and most men that approach women, women only have the choices of the, like, if, let's say like 5 men approach a woman, she can only pick from those 5 choices who's the best amongst them, like if she wants to go for any of them. But like as a guy, you can go, if you let's say like you work out, you good looking and all that, you have a higher rate of approaching any woman you want. So basically, you have a better chance of getting the woman you want compared to a woman getting the guy she wants.
Right.
Because like a women don't DM men like on Instagram or whatever. Women only pick, like, let's say 5, 10 guys DM her. She looks at all the profile, like, okay, this is the best one amongst them all, so I'm gonna go for this one. But as a guy, you could DM 10 girls. If you're good looking, good skincare, you dress good, you smell nice, whatever. You could get like, if you DM 10 girls, you could get back like 6, 7 replies maybe, and
Mhm.
maybe 3 dates out of all of them, like after talking consistently. So that's why I strongly advocate for like men to actually put more value into themselves
Yeah.
compared to like trying to impress a woman who's like, well, on Instagram she has 20,000 followers, she's living like, because most of this is like fake life basically.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that, man. And yeah, man, I think the generalization of this entire conversation is, men, just put
Mhm.
yourself first.
Yeah,
Chase your
1,000.
values, your goals. Um, have some level of physical activity, but all in all, just take care of yourself.
Yeah, just
Take
to,
care of yourself. Everything else in life will come behind it. The financials, the women, whatever you may want, it comes behind taking care of yourself.
and I feel like men should also once in a while just take mental breaks, like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
okay to just be like, just sit alone like once in a while, like 20 minutes a day, just reflect on your life, like, okay, check up on yourself, or you can,
yeah,
even if you can talk to someone that, like, it's not even part of your friend, you can go talk to, like, you can go to a therapist,
oh
and
yeah,
that's one thing black men don't actually appreciate. Like, going to therapy is actually not like, it's not a bad thing, because
no,
once in a while it's just good to like hear, like, talk to someone from and see how, like, from a different perspective, that's not like in your friend group or your family or whatever.
yeah. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
And the number one thing that I see in Black communities is that people think therapy is for people who are like depressed or,
Yeah, depressed or no, or
you
going
know what I'm
through like
saying, going through something
extreme things.
traumatic or something like
Yeah,
that, right? When that's far from the case.
that's far from me. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They have career therapists, they have financial therapists, they have so many therapists for so many different scenarios. Like,
yeah,
you can go see a therapist just because you're struggling with financials, or you can just have and it's what I try to tell people, that what they should understand is therapy isn't like, hey, are you okay, or hey, are you depressed type situations, right?
yeah,
Most therapists are there to give you a perspective unique to what you may not have at home, or what that you just may need from a random person.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're there to have a conversation with you and give you the tools to help you understand and see a different perspective, and also help you get through whatever it is you may be dealing with, whether that's in your career, relationship, life, your family, all kind of things, which is why they have so many different therapists for so many unique
yeah,
scenarios
yeah,
that you can go out and see. And I try to tell people that therapy is, it should be widely accessible to most people, but to a level it is. A lot of times you can go out there and have these free consultations with people and have just random
yeah,
conversations.
yeah.
And I think it's,
Even if it's just 20 minutes,
yeah,
that's good enough for
yeah,
my book. So.
exactly. You put a lot of value in those 20 minutes. You have the best conversation you possibly can have. And then you make that decision if you do want to take the step and continue therapy. You know what I mean? But I think it's
Yeah,
very important that everybody go out there and have those consultations, have those conversations, and meet with different people and see who's the right fit for you. Because therapy can be an essential part of life nowadays. At least for me, having those conversations with my therapist really helps me shape the way that I view things and the way that I have conversations with my mom, or,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, my friends, you know what I'm
Yeah, and
saying?
that's why I
Or,
said it's more important to have it with someone that's not family or friend related. Like, because the things that the advice like the person will give you would be 10 times better than something like your friend is giving you. Because if you're getting advice from like your friend or your family, there's kind of gonna be this like bias. That's
yeah.
gonna be so like they're not gonna give like they're just gonna kind of like tell you what you want to hear basically.
Mm.
If you get what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what people got to understand is that when you talk to friends and family, it may not be 100% biased, but subconsciously there's going to be a small level of bias in it,
Yeah,
because naturally your friends and family are going to want to comfort you to some degree.
to some degree, yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? It may not be heavily, but it may just have that. Whereas a therapist isn't there to comfort you.
Yeah,
They're literally only there to help you and give you the tools in order to help you get through whatever it is you may have come to them for. But yeah, man, we've had a long, productive conversation. I definitely
yeah.
appreciate you for coming on, man. It was
No
definitely was
worries.
good. I want you to drop your socials. I know you said you were modeling and whatnot, where people can find you at.
Uh, no worries. It's Peter Lafleur on Instagram.
Okay, Peter LaFleur.
Yeah, Peter.Lafleur.
Okay, no relation to Gucci Mane.
No, 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 no.
But yeah, man, I appreciate it. We had a very long, productive conversation, man. And yeah, man, we hope to see you back on. I think we got to dive on a part 2 more into the therapy thing.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, we'll be in contact. And again, I appreciate you for hopping on, my brother.
No worries. See you next time.
All right, brother.
All right.
All right. All right, guys, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. We talked about a little bit of everything from relationships to for how men should take care of themselves, and there was a lot of productiveness in the conversation. Peter definitely was on the end of men should value themselves instead of overvaluing the women in their lives, and I hope that makes sense. Like, you want a woman to see the value that you have in yourself, and then in turn, how should I explain this? I'm losing my train of thought. But yeah, man, just all in all, both men and women should be taking care of themselves and valuing themselves, and in tune that will attract both either the man or woman that you see for yourself. And yeah, man, again, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Again, if you go on Instagram at unspoken.pod and you want to come on the podcast, there will be a set more. I have meetings every Thursday and Saturday just to kind of chop it up with you guys and trying to see where your head is at. So when we do come to the podcast, it's not awkward. Yeah, go on there, book your meeting if you want to come on here, whatever you want to talk. Oops. I hope you guys can hear me because I definitely muted the mic, but I'm all ears. I'm open to all kind of conversations. And yeah, guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode of Unspoken. Again, I hope you guys enjoy the name. This is the very first episode under that name. And yeah, see you guys later. Peace.